ジャベリン、なんかずっと悩んでるから。ラフィーちゃん。そういう時は遊ぶのが一番。ラフィーちゃんが原因なんだけどな。
Laffey is an elite destroyer from the Eagle Union, and is one of the 5 Benson-class destroyers currently available in the game. She is also one of the starter destroyers that you get to pick when you start the game for the first time. Unlike Z-23 and Enemy, Laffey is a permanent starter destroyer. This means that, no matter what server you go to, you will still have Laffey as one of your starter options. Laffey has a reputation of being a sleepyhead, and along with Nicholas forms the Azaline version of the Z-Force. Compared to the other 3 starters, Laffey can be considered as a more beginner-friendly ship because of the fact that her stats and skill doesn't really focus on anything in particular. If you look at Laffey's stats and compared it to other destroyers, you will see that Laffey being a generalist is not that special and can easily be overshadowed by other specialist destroyers such as Enemy and Z-23. Laffey has an A for firepower, a C for hit points, a B for anti-air, an A for evasion and a C for torpedoes. At first glance these stats are rather dull and unappealing, however you can't judge a ship by their stats alone, because the moment you start putting these stats into practice, you will see that Laffey is a well-rounded ship. While other ships have stats geared towards one particular specialty such as Enemy and her torpedo stats and torpedo gear efficiency, but low firepower and main gun gear efficiency, Laffey on the other hand gets a more balanced stats and gear efficiency. This means that Laffey gets to do whatever she wants to do, unlike other destroyers who can only be good at 1 or 2 things and be horrible at others. For Laffey, specialization is just a load of crap, because what Laffey wants to do, Laffey can do. This also makes Laffey a really flexible ship that can be put in any kind of fleet and still be able to perform good in it. Her being a generalist doesn't just show on her stats, it could also be seen in her skills. When you first obtained her, she will have 2 skills readily available for her. The first one is War God of Solomon. This skill temporarily increases her firepower, reload and evasion by 40% for 8 seconds, but this skill heavily relies on RNG with only a 5% chance to activate whenever Laffey fires her main gun. Her next skill is All Out Assault, which is a barrage skill that lets Laffey fire a powerful barrage every time she fires her main gun 10 times. This skill is pretty common to all Vanguard ships, because all Vanguard ships has their own version of All Out Assault. Laffey is also one of the ships that has a retrofit that when completed, will not only upgrade her rarity from elite to super rare, but will also give her a boost in stats. Additionally, retrofitting her will let you unlock her retrofit skill Annihilation mode, which is basically Laffey entering maximum overdrive. This skill when activated will boost her reload by 200%, which is a pretty massive buff, and the effect of this skill lasts for 10 seconds with a 70% chance of activating every 20 seconds. This skill lets Laffey unleash a short but powerful damage burst every time this skill activates. Now, onto her gear. For her main gun, I personally recommend the Gold Twin 127mm Mk12 dual gun on her for fast reload and good damage. This gun is also a DP gun, which means it comes with a bit of anti-air stat bonus. On top of that, it also fire high explosive ammo, which gives it a chance to light the enemy on fire and can cause damage over time to that enemy. You could also give her the gold 138.6mm gun MLE 1929 on her for a higher damage output. This gun has a slightly slower reload, but considering Laffey's reload stats, that tiny bit difference in reload compared to the twin 127mm Mk12 dual gun is barely noticeable. The downside of giving her this gun is that the 138.6mm gun MLE 1929 is not a DP gun. This means that it does not have any anti-air stat bonus. For her torpedo, I recommend the quintuple 533mm torpedo on her if you are going manual, because it has good damage, reload and spread. You could also give her the gold quintuple 533mm magnetic torpedo if you want to go auto. For her anti-air, I recommend the twin 113mm AA gun on her for high damage and long range. This anti-air gun has slower reload compared to other anti-air guns, but the slow reload is easily compensated by Laffey's high reload stats. For her auxiliary, The purple repair tools is a good option for her if you want to increase her hit points, which she doesn't really have much due to the fact that she is a destroyer. This will give Laffey better survivability and help her stay in the fight longer. For her second auxiliary, you could give her the blue fire suppressor to further increase her hit points. The fire suppressor is also an auxiliary equipment that has a passive skill which decreases the chance of Laffey catching fire when she gets hit by high explosive shells from the enemy by 30%. This equipment also reduces the fire duration by 6 seconds as well as reduces the burn damage by 20%. This gives Laffey far better survivability. You could also give her the Type 93 pure oxygen torpedo if you want her to have a higher torpedo damage output instead. If you are not new to my channel and had watched my previous video about Laffey, you will know that this is just a redo of that video with a different build recommendation. After posting that video, I received some feedback from veteran players that made me realize that my build on Laffey was wrong. And after looking and testing their recommended build, I came up with this one. I apologize for the wrong information that my previous Laffey video contained, and I hope that this video can somehow correct that. Now on to the fleet arrangement. As you all know, Laffey is a jack of all trade kind of ship. This means that she can be put in literally any kind of fleet that you want to put her on. She doesn't have any particular ships that she needs to be with to bring her full potential, though putting her on a Vanguard fleet with London or Aurora could be a good idea to boost her firepower, though this is more of a suggestion rather than a compulsory fleet formation, since unlike other ships that needs other ships to compensate for their weakness, Laffey can be put together with anyone and still be great on that fleet. Laffey could also be sent into a sortie as a solo Vanguard as well, if you are running a fleet at a reduced oil consumption, or if you are grinding EXP for backline PR ships like Izumo and Monarch. No matter what fleet you put her on, you can expect her to contribute greatly for your fleet. That's it for this video, and as always, I hope this had been informative in some ways. The things that I said in this video are just my personal suggestion, and everyone is free to either follow it or ignore it. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please do leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Well then, I will see you guys around.